All right, that almost put me to sleep. I don't know what that. All right, this is the bucking truth, you guys. We're diehard Denver Broncos fans, and if you're a diehard Denver Broncos fan, or just maybe a run-of-the-mill Denver Broncos fan, you've come to the bucking right place. The bucking right place. Bucking right, okay?
Bucking
So
right.
that's right. Buck, yeah. All right. So I'm the host of the Bucking Truth, Jared A. Brown. This is Jeffrey Mark Brown. And then I've got my twin brother, Jeff Brown, right there. So we're all Browns. Okay.
We're all Browns.
You don't have to be a Brown to watch the Bucking Truth. It just helps. Okay. You get brownie points, if I can use the term brownie, because we're Browns, right? Yes. So that's right. I got more where those came from. So here we go, you guys. The Bucking Truth. We're going to talk about all things Denver Broncos. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about 3 prospects in free agency, because one of the things that happened, we've discussed it already previously in the Bucking Truth, is right after the Denver Broncos lost their game in the AFC Championship game. Okay, and we're not going to talk about spilled milk too much, but one of the things that happened is Sean Payton talked about dropped passes, and he alluded to that has been a problem all season long. And then shortly thereafter, you guys, the wide receiver coach, Kerry Colbert, okay, which by the way, okay, it's going to make me feel old, but I remember when Kerry Colbert actually played wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But anyway, he was fired, so to speak.
That's about an hour later. An hour later after Sean said that, about an hour later, he was fired.
Right. Yeah. So, and it happens, okay? You got to make changes, and whether he was the scapegoat or however you want to, look at it, changes had to be made. And then we've got Davis Webb, right? Davis Webb is now the offensive coordinator, and
and he was wasn't he the QB
quarterbacks coach?
All right.
Yes, that's right. He was the quarterbacks coach, right? So now we're in a position, where we can talk about the Denver Broncos and what kind of upgrade they may have at wide receiver. Now, this isn't a knock on particularly Courtland Sutton, as we call him. Court is in session, right? Or Troy Franklin, okay? Franklinstein, as my son Bronco likes to call him, Franklinstein. I like that. Or, okay, Marvin Mims. Love Marvin Mims. Yes. And, okay, and that Jeffrey, Mark Brown, and I we've gone on record of saying that he was underutilized.
Get Marvin the ball. Get Marvin the ball.
Yeah, they need to find ways to get him the ball more often. I agree, Jeff.
Right. Yep. Underutilized. So this isn't a knock on any of those guys. I just think that those are the top 3, okay? Top 3. Now, Michael Bandy was just recently signed again. Now, I think he'll probably be stashed in the practice squad like he was last season, but he's certainly not going to be like in a regular rotation unless things change. Maybe he has a fantastic,
he is who
camp. He is. Right. But he's probably going to be a practice squad guy, maybe called up if there's an injury or something like last season against the Packers or against whatever team that he got called up on. But so my idea is you've got Marvin Mims, right? You've got Courtland Sutton, and then you've got Troy Franklin, those 3, right? Who am I missing? That's right, Pat Bryant. So we have 4. Thank you for reminding me. I love Pat Bryant. So really, if you're going to go into a 5 wide receiver set, right, like an empty formation, no running backs, right, and you're going into a 5 wide receiver set because it's, I don't know, third.
Right. Which
right?
is the shotgun formation. Yeah.
Exactly. If you're going in a shotgun, 5 wide receiver set, empty, no running back, okay, you're going to need a 5th guy. So regardless whether, you know, you want to look at it saying, I don't want to give up any one of these guys because they're developing, and I don't want to give up on a guy that may have a blow up season in his 3rd year like Troy Franklin, pump the brakes. I don't think we're saying that we want to trade away these guys or give up on them, right?
No.
We just see like maybe another guy. It's always good to have like competition come into the fold because remember when Emmanuel Sanders came into the fold? Do you think that I don't have any inkling of a feeling that gave Demaryius Thomas any feeling that his job was in jeopardy? I think it just made him feel as though, man, I've got to like
a wingman.
Right, I've got a wingman and I've got to play harder because I've got someone else who's going to play hard. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think all of us here would agree that toward the end of the season when Pat Bryant was getting more reps,
my gosh. Yeah.
crossing our fingers that he would emerge as like, a truly, budding talent that we all hope,
Absolutely.
He was ready to ball out in that Buffalo game.
I still at this point
I opened up with 3 straight receptions and then he got hurt.
Oh my gosh, Jeffrey, if he would have not gotten injured in that game against Buffalo, he may have potentially had like a game of his career. He was on fire. I don't think anybody would have used an extinguisher to put that fire out either.
Yeah, he had just been gaining momentum throughout the year, and
yeah. What I like about his sort of repertoire of talent is that he can climb that ladder just as well, or sometimes better than Cortland Sutton. As far as like getting those high passes.
Yes, metaphorically and literally, he could climb a ladder and do any of the catches that you need to have him make, of course. But I don't remember. He may have dropped a ball or two. I just don't remember him dropping the ball. You know what I mean?
Not many.
He's not definitely not known for drops. There are times, unfortunately, as much as we all love Cortland, he tends to drop the ball sometimes, and the easy catches, you're like, wow, how did you drop that, right? And then all of a sudden you'll see him catch those unbelievable ones, in the end zone above everyone, and the fadeaways, and then you forget about those drops. But nonetheless, there are those drops.
Yeah.
Right. So, not that I'm not going to be pouring haterade on little Jordan Humphrey. The guy has had some good, catches last year in the playoffs, last year against some other teams in big games. Okay, he redeemed himself in what game was it? Was it the Buffalo Bills?
Buffalo Bills game.
He dropped one, but then redeemed himself with a touchdown catch, right?
Right, yeah.
So I'm not pouring haterade on him, but again, if we can look at these 3
he is who he is.
He is, right.
He is who he is,
The
reason why he's not a starter, there's the reason why the Broncos released him. He played for the Giants, and the Broncos picked him back.
Right. There's no shame in looking at upgrades, okay? And it's not disrespecting what he's done for the Broncos. And I think that we can all agree that he's not the best blocking wide receiver either. And that's what I'd like to also see as an upgrade and somebody who can block because, man, and I don't want to go on a tangent about bubble screens.
He's going to go on a tangent, folks.
I know. Every time someone prefaces that.
Yeah, I know.
But,
you know him better than anyone.
But, Jeffrey, we get tired of the screens, okay? And I get it. The screens, when they work, they're great.
The wide receiver bubble screens.
Right. They're great when they work. But my knock is that the wide receivers aren't blocking well enough. But anyway, I digress.
No days with Payton and Demaryius.
Yes. Okay, but
they were blocking. And the screen would go to Sanders, right?
Yeah, and he'd take off. Yeah. Right, but it's because the wide receivers were blocking well. And if they are blocking well, they work great.
Right. So anyway. like you said, if all the wide receivers are blocking well, then this would be a play for Marvin Mims to excel in.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, so we're going to look at these three on this information. I'm going to give where credit's due is we all three, even if my brother Jeff has read his information, but predominantly orange. I want to give him cred. Sayer Bettinger is awesome. And on predominantly orange, there's Jack Ramsey, who also gives out information and writes stuff for predominantly orange. But Sayer Bettinger is part of Locked On Broncos. Love Locked On Broncos. We all do. And Jack Ramsey has written a really good article. It reads, ranking the Denver Broncos 3 most logical wide receiver targets entering the offseason. And I'm going to share this on my screen. We're going to talk about these possible targets, okay? Now, hopefully, because it's not video and it's just photos, Jeffrey, I don't freeze up. But if I do, just talk amongst yourselves. I know, you're right. Anyway, so can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not freezing up. Okay. So, ranking the Denver Broncos 3 logical wide receiver targets entering the offseason. Now, this picture right here, okay, is of Alec Pierce. I'm a big Alec Pierce fan. I like him a lot. He's got some speed, okay? Some people say he's too similar to Courtland Sutton, and I don't know. I think he's a little faster than Courtland Sutton, but he emerged last season for the Colts and he was a rookie in 2022. So he's not too old, right? And last year he did have over 1,000 yards receiving for the first time.
Yeah. I think sometimes where they're looking at Michael Pittman, he was open, and
yes.
And if he comes to the Broncos, Courtland Sutton's, they're looking his way, and he's not open. Then the same could be said that Alec Pierce could be open. I think he's got great hands. He always tends to somehow get open.
Yes.
A lot of times downfield too, right, on these long bombs for some reason. Mm-hmm. And I say this for some reason because we're all surprised when we see a white dude getting wide open on a seam pass, in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't happen very often, right?
Right.
But Alec Pierce tends to get open on these long seam plays.
Yes. And that's what we need. We don't, he does have some speed, so I don't want to make the Cooper Kupp comp because that's too lazy because he's white, but I think he's speedy. He does have some speed to him. But yeah, he has great hands. What do you think about Alec Pierce, Jeffrey?
Yeah, no, he had a really good season last year. His first 1,000-yard season, only on 47 receptions. So pretty decent average there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6'3", 210 pounds.
Yeah. So Sean Payton likes his guys almost like his wide receivers as trees, almost, right? He likes them to be tall, right?
He likes his big receivers.
He does, yeah. And at 6'3", he's got some size and he's got some speed, So this is a good fit. I'm on the list of the 3 that we're reading here on this article right here that I'm sharing the screen for. I like him the best, but there are some other names in here we'll talk about. But right here it reads that Pierce, he's going to be the biggest wide receiver name, so to speak, on this list, which says more about the market than him. He's one of the game's elite big play threats, but his fit in Denver could be a little muddy. Denver struggles with drops and could probably use a more high volume, short yardage receiver than a big play threat.
Right.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. That's a valid point. I mean, like a slot sort of wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And in that way, I think Wan'Dale Robinson, who's also on this list, may be a better fit if you're looking at it that way.
Yeah, you're reading my mind, buddy.
Yeah, it's a valid point. So it says, regardless, Pierce would be the most talented wide receiver and would remove the need to rely on soon-to-be 31-year-old Cortland Sutton as a big play threat. So, a valid point, you guys. That if we, do we necessarily need two big play threats? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if you have them, great. I mean, the Cowboys have, George Pickens last season as well as CeeDee Lamb, which are two, big play threats. Well, it can happen, but is it a need or priority? Maybe not. So we can talk about Wan'Dale Robinson, who's also on here. We can go right here and look at him. Man, he was flying under the radar a little bit, but it's very impressive.
Yeah.
Because it reads right here that he was easily one of the most underrated wide receivers in all of football. And what he did with a brutal quarterback situation should receive more attention. He crossed
I think they had like 3 or 4 different quarterbacks playing.
Yes.
At different periods of time last season.
Right. It was a quarterback carousel, so to speak, with Jackson Dart, Jameis Famous Winston, and Russell Wilson. Okay, those 3 guys. So, man, he did a lot with that sort of rotation of quarterbacks last season. It's really impressive.
92 receptions last year.
Mm-hmm.
Say again?
92.
Yes, that's a high number.
I had no idea, man. I had no idea he had that many.
I know, flying under the radar, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Slot receiver works in the field.
Right, and there you go. So, the slot receiver, in my opinion, a lot of times is one of the most underrated players on the offense. If there's a knock against the Broncos offense, it's always been that they either don't have a tight end that's been reliable in that slot, right? Or a slot wide receiver, and in this sense, it's both.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a valid point.
Remember Wes Walker back in the day?
I like Wan'Dale Robinson.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a great slot receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. Because I don't think his price
tag would be that outrageous
or anything. So I think he could be a very
it wouldn't be. Yes, you're right. It wouldn't be astronomical, right? It wouldn't be like a big ticket price.
Right. I mean, you're not breaking the bank. I get it. He's not the most sexy or big splash sort of a free agent signing, but he just makes sense.
Making sense is good.
So it is. Making sense is a very good thing. Now, the last one on the list and the sexiest name, maybe other than Alec Pierce, would be Garrett Wilson. Okay, because Garrett Wilson, of course, he's been kind of like in Siberia with the Jets, right? He's been isolated, right? So another guy who's been kind of jettisoned, so to speak, because he's been with the Jets. I'm not necessarily trying to pour haterade on the Jets, but they are who they are, right?
They're a dumpster fire. Call it what it is. They're a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it seems like no matter who their head coach is, no matter who their quarterback is, it's a team that's just it's a dumpster fire no matter who is in control of that team, huh?
Their old quarterback just won a Super Bowl.
Yes, right. And that's kind of embarrassing for them because they drafted him. And so it makes you maybe want to rethink maybe Zach Wilson, who was with the Broncos, and see if there's another possibility for teams to pick up Zach Wilson because, man, obviously Sam Darnold has redeemed himself. But anyway, I digress. So Garrett Wilson, okay? The thing about the Jets, you guys, is that the former Broncos executive, Darren, is it pronounced Moogie or Mogi?
Moogie.
Yeah, he's running the show in New Jersey, okay, and has shown a willingness, of course, because of the having been with the Broncos previously, all right, to at least have communication with the Broncos. And he's also shown willingness to move popular players to accrue more draft capital. Okay, right before last season's trade line, he traded away, okay, Sauce
Gardner.
Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. Yeah, Sauce
Gardner. Thank you. Yeah, Sauce Gardner. I had to spit it off and roll it off my tongue. And then also the Quillian Williams, I think, traded him to
went to Dallas, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he's shown willingness to trade away players, and we have a connection, of course, because he's a former Bronco executive. So that may be interesting. All right. I don't know if I like him as well as Idell Robinson, but Garrett Wilson would be interesting because he does have
because you're gonna have to trade assets. You'll have to trade assets to get Wilson.
Right. And that might mean even like ridding ourselves of Pat Bryant or Troy Franklin to get that sort of guy.
Maybe, but if you trade away, I don't want to necessarily say, but you could trade away a draft pick in addition to that. Try to sweeten the pot, so to speak, or Chris Abrams.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting.
Now I don't want to make our already deep. I love that we have.
I don't think at this juncture he would require like a first round pick, but
right,
a second round pick.
But Jeffrey's right. Yeah, Jeffrey's right. It would cost you, right?
They're all gonna. Yeah, the assets are gonna have to go to get him, and he just signed last year a 4-year, $130 million contract extension with an average annual value of 32.5.
Yeah. So anyway, in other words, the Broncos would be assuming that contract.
Yeah.
And swapping that, yeah.
So
yeah. It would be interesting. So out of these three, okay, with the former Broncos executive Darren Moogie, with the Jets and Garrett Wilson possibly, being intriguing as maybe a player that could be traded, right? Or we've got Alec Pierce from the Colts. I'm going to show that photo one more time, number 14 from the Colts, the Great White Hope, or Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know. So far, I think it's kind of a consensus from what we've all kind of, discussed, that Wan'Dale Robinson may be the best fit. But what do you guys think?
I would much rather look at need, and the requirement of the Broncos as far as their need and fit. And I still tend to look at Wan'Dale Robinson as that need for the Broncos at the slot, rather than the outside wide receiver. Pat Bryant is essentially the same as Alec Pierce, just not as fast. Cortland Sutton may not be quite as speedy, but then we got Marvin Mims, and Troy Franklin. They are just as fast or faster than Alec Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing. Robinson, hands down. Fits a need.
That's a good choice.
Right. I mean, it's not the big splash signing, and we always like to hear about, look who the Broncos signed, or picked up, and on another show, you guys, we may talk about, a running back signing, who's available there and maybe already have, and and we want that big name, usually, right? But maybe sometimes that it's not the big name that's the perfect fit, for our team. It's a guy with not a few receptions.
Don't win the Super Bowl in free agency week,
No, it's true. You're right. You're spot on with that. It's free agency, sometimes you can get lucky. I mean, last season, I thought with Talanoa Hufanga was brilliant free agent signing. And I'm not out on Dre Greenlaw. I think that there's still much to see, but from when he was playing, he was incredible.
He
was a hard-hitting linebacker.
I hope they keep both. Yeah, I hope they keep both of them.
I think they will again because
Hufanga for sure.
Yeah,
Greenlaw's up in the air.
It may be my feeling is they do keep him and not release him, but I could be surprised. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think that when he was playing, he was a difference maker. Like he was a run stopper. He's good in coverage. Again, the question is, can he stay healthy? Of course, but when he was playing, he was very, very effective, and he was a playmaker.
Yeah,
but I mean, anyway,
we used to get beaten at the tight end position consistently year in year out, and I think that he pretty much filled that role of
he did, but not only did he help in that, but against the Cowboys with Ferguson. Okay, and Ferguson at the time the Broncos played the Cowboys last season in 2025, the Denver Broncos inserted Jahdae Barron to cover Ferguson.
Yeah.
And it was a brilliant move by Vance Joseph because he shut down Ferguson, Jahdae Barron did. And that was a very bright spot for the rookie last season.
Yeah.
So
and he still has a lot of room for growth. You know, it was just his rookie season. You know, not everyone's gonna come in like what's his name, PS2 and just dominate, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Well, even PS2, they eased him in.
After the injury?
Yeah.
Rookie season?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
he
true.
Didn't start right away. PS2.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
That was under Fangio, I believe.
It was, yeah. It was
Vance is old school. He likes to bring in the rookie slowly, and with the secondary being a position of depth.
Yeah. Well, with the depth that we had, I don't disagree with that move. You don't want to overwhelm the rookies. You know, let them ease them in, like you're saying. Yeah.
You know, it was a little concerning that he only got 5 snaps in the AFC Championship game. That was a little, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and into year 2.
The jury's still out on him, huh?
Yeah, no, I think he'll be okay. But he has a lot to prove.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do think so. And we'll see what happens. But with the free agents again last year that the Broncos took chances on, they didn't break the bank, and I think that number one, we're still under the Russell Wilson dead cap space money, right? And so they wanted to be careful. And I think, rolling the dice on the guys they did, for the most part, I think it worked out. And if they can,
absolutely.
And the thing is that they don't have necessarily a health and conditioning wizard, but they almost do, you guys, because they really have such a great health and conditioning center there. And if you compare the Denver Broncos with other franchises, other teams in the NFL, their injuries are mitigated and reduced, and they have fewer injuries than other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. As a matter of fact, on that note, Jared, J.K. Dobbins was touching on that in an interview that I saw him last week. He's like, I want to stay a Bronco, and we're deviating from our current topic, but he mentioned so many different reasons why he wants to stay a Bronco, right? And from the ownership to the head coach to the facilities, right?
You're bucking right.
From injuries, right? Yeah, so it's the bucking truth.
Yeah, Buck, yeah. And we both loved J.K. Dobbins, Jeffrey, Mark, and I. Jeffrey, man, holy cow. When he got the ball and when he was healthy, he was like at least in the top 5 in rushing in 2025 for the Denver Broncos. And his style of running, I love it. Just
right.
He just didn't stop.
I know in the AFC Championship, it was pretty blatantly obvious how much we missed Dobbins.
Yes. How close did they come in regards to playing him? It was so close.
I know he was so close, and I wish somehow they had been able to, because in that second half where the weather was just atrocious, and the Patriots knew we were going to run the ball, and we knew the Patriots were going to run the ball. Well, the difference in winning the game was the Patriots could run the ball with a big monster sort of running back, i.e. Stevenson, right? And the Broncos, well, we couldn't do much of anything on offense at all in the second half.
Yeah. So at any rate, the free agents, if the Broncos can, gamble a little bit again, but not gamble too big, I think they can perform some of George Payton's sort of wizardry, because other than the Russell Wilson fiasco, George Payton has done a pretty good job, you guys. I mean, we all love and admire and adore John Elway, okay? But he could not – some of his gambles didn't pay off. Some of them did, but, some of them didn't. And so if you just take away the Russell Wilson fiasco, George Payton has done a pretty remarkable job.
He has. He's been pretty consistent. I mean, no one's going to be 100% in their player management choices.
For sure. So he's definitely earned a new contract.
So we'll see what happens. Coming up soon. It will be, yeah. And so the timeline right now is, you guys, we're going to have the combine, I think, next week. Now, the combine, it is what it is. It is interesting, but a 40-yard dash doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the best wide receiver in football, because so what happens, and you guys, you're never going to have, unless somebody is like not covered at all, right? Which is hardly ever, right? Unless some quarterback forgets his coverage, or I don't know, falls, trips, right? Rarely are you going to find a wide receiver who doesn't have any, there's going to be some obstruction, right? You're going to have bump and run. You're going to have somebody who's going to prevent you from going directly and as fast as you can, right? In a 40-yard dash, there's nobody in front of you. That's why I'm thinking it's not necessarily going to mean that you're going to be a great wide receiver, because
right. No, I think wide receivers at the combine should be more judged on the route running than
catches, route running, right?
That, yeah.
Rarely does, like John Ross, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals, at the time, it's been broken since then, but at the time he had the best 40-yard dash ever when he was at the combine. But now he may be playing in the UFL, in the spring. So he's not even in the NFL anymore. And so it doesn't always mean you're going to be the best wide receiver. Now, there are other criteria and specifications and things they look for, of course. But, man, did Tom Brady have a great combine? Not really, right? So it doesn't, again, it is what it is.
Combine, it's mostly about making sure the medicals are up to par, and just getting, each team getting 5-10 minutes with that player, and just having a quick conversation with them.
Right. Now,
just being, who are you? What are you about? Are you, you fit in our culture?
Mm-hmm.
And more than any 40-yard dash or how high you can jump.
Yeah.
Those are part of it.
I think with the Broncos, that we've always maintained, a good culture that we have a standard,
right.
That goes. We don't like players that are divas, prima donnas, that try to grab all of the attention. It's a team sport.
Yes, it is a team sport. Now, we do like dogs. We like trash talkers like Aqib Talib, or guys that are going to talk trash. But, right, we don't want divas. The Broncos, even Emmanuel Sanders said, I want the ball, but he never, complained. And, he was a great wide receiver. The Broncos historically have had great culture and have always had guys that have made the team better, or, well, for the most part. Man, they've had some good ones. Rod Smith. And under the radar, Brandon Lloyd, is one of my favorite receivers as a Bronco.
He was underrated, that's for sure.
Yeah. Brandon Marshall was kind of a diva, and that's why he left. But I think that he was frustrated because he had a great connection with Jay Cutler. But anyway, as of right now, I just want to kind of end the Bucking Truth on a good note, is that the free agents and a possible trade, who knows? Maybe if they do look at a trade, they may revisit Jalen Waddle. We may see the penguin dance. If he catches a touchdown in the end zone, he does that little waddle, right? Like a penguin. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But we've got the combine next week. And then about another week thereafter, we've got the free agency starts. There we go.
It'll be coming up soon. Yeah. It'll be coming up soon, yeah.
Right, like March 7th, I think.
There's another player, guys, that I know may fit that, prima donna sort of role or definition, but A.J. Brown could be traded in the offseason from the Eagles.
We can get him on the show. We'll get another Brown on the show.
Right.
Jared, Jeffrey, Mark, Jeff, and AJ.
Yeah, we'll send
on the show.
We'll send an invite to Antonio Brown, even though he's not a Bronco. We'll see if Antonio Brown will come on.
Why not?
Yeah, that would be good.
It'd be interesting to see what happens with AJ. A lot of rumors, and come next week, there's going to be a lot more rumors with all these GMs.
There will be,
out in one place. So
there will be. It should be interesting. So we got the combine, and then free agency, and then in April we've got the NFL draft, of course. Yeah. So that's kind of the timeline. And even though the combine's not my favorite, man, it's still football, and I'm going to take it. Anytime
you can fit in some, NFL football news and talk about it,
I'll watch it. Yeah.
Incidentally, if you're watching this broadcast live or afterward, let's hear your opinion on whom you would want the Broncos to pick up, either via the free agency or via trade, or even in the draft.
Yeah. Drop a comment, man. We'd love to have a discussion. Some of the best episodes that we've had are the ones where we've got dialogue with our followers and finding out what you guys like and maybe what your thoughts are. It's really been interesting to see people's takes when I see comments on some of our past episodes. It's been very, very entertaining.
Love it.
You're bucking
right. My voice made it through the show. I'm very happy.
Yeah, he's getting over the man flu.
Man flu this week, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's vicious, dude.
Yeah.
Just annoying.
It is annoying.
Anyhow, it's a pleasure being a guest on the show. Finally, I've been meaning to do it due to the
it's good to have you,
time differences, things going on. I haven't been able to do it in the past, but
it was awesome to hook up.
Yeah, it's been bucking good having you on, and
it's been bucking great, man.
Yeah, it's the Bucking Truth, you guys, and you're bucking right. Buck, yeah. I mean, if you're a bucking Denver Broncos fan, you've come to the bucking right place. And I'm going to see if we can say bucking a little bit more. I don't know how many bucking times we can use bucking, but I'm going to try.
He's bucking right.
Yeah, buck, yeah. All right. So, man, thanks you guys for hopping on. Again, you guys, if you've enjoyed the show, if you enjoy or maybe you watch the Denver Broncos as much as we do, comment so that we can have and subscribe, hit that subscribe button and let's get some dialogue going because we love the Denver Broncos and we'd have an orange crush on you guys. We'd be crushing on you like an orange crush if you're going to subscribe and comment and let us know what you think.
Absolutely. I love any and every opportunity to talk about the Denver Broncos.
Same here.
All right, you guys. Have a great weekend, man. Appreciate you guys. Go Broncos.